Vanakkam. I once again welcome you to the presentation of exports of goods and services under FEMA Part 5. Today I am going to cover the specific topic of return of and setup of export process. This is a very interesting topic because you cannot go and directly write off the export process, because whenever an exporter exports the goods to the foreign country, it is the responsibility of the exporter to bring the realization process. That is, they have to bring the foreign exchange into India. In case if they are not able to recover the export process, then the RBI has given permission that the exporter can himself write off the export process. But why this export process is being given importance, I want to tell here, because the exporter, he has exported the goods to outside India, but he might have availed packing credit loan from the bank. In order to avoid the repayment of packing credit loan, he will request the export buyer to make the payment in Indian rupee through Hawala payment. So that's why it's the duty of the auditor, or it's duty of the authorized dealer. You have to verify the outstanding balance of the exporters in the form of export bills which have been sent for collection or which have been negotiated. So this is a very important thing that auditor or authorized dealer, they have to take care of. But the RBI has given a specific permission that the return of process can be taken by the authorized dealers, can be taken by the person who has exported the goods. But there is a ceiling. Here, the self write-off by an exporter, that is other than the status exporter. So they have divided into status holder exporter and that is by some. They have divided the thing into two. So if the export is being done by the exporter and the exporter himself can write off the outstanding balance to the tune of 5%. But here you have to be very careful. That is the total export process realized during the calendar year. So here you have to remember two things. One is export process realized, and second one is it is during calendar year. It is not financial year. So up to 5% of export process realized during the calendar year, that is the exporter can himself write off the export turnover. There is an outstanding balance, he can directly write off. So beyond that, if you want to write off, he has to get the permission from RBI. So this is a ceiling that RBI has given. So the exporter, he himself can write off 5% of the debtors, but this 5% of the debtors should not exceed the export process realized. It is not 5% on the export turnover during the calendar year. It is the 5% on the export process realized during the year, and that too in calendar year. Now, the status account holder, they can write off up to 10%. Here, self, that is by the exporter, can himself can write off 5%. Then the status holder exporter, he can write off up to 10%. Who is called as status holder? That is, status holder means an exporter recognized as export house, trading house by DGFT, Development Commission, or Store Trading House, or Superstore Trading House by the DGFT. So he is called as status holder. So they can write up to 10% of the export process realized during the calendar year. So it is not export turnover, it is export realized. Okay, now the authorized dealer also is being given permission. He can write off the debts, that is the bills outstanding, to the tune of 10%. So both the status holder exporter as well as the authorized dealer, they can write off up to 10%, but the exporter, he can write off up to 5% of export process realized and not export turnover during the calendar year. This is with reference to export that is written off. But this above limit of write-off is subject to the following conditions. So whether they're to write off 5% or 10%, it is subject to the following condition. One thing, the outstanding should be more than 1 year. So the first condition, that is the debtor should be outstanding for more than 1 year. And the evidence to the satisfactory has been produced to realize the export process. That is, they have taken all the efforts, exporters, they have taken all the efforts, but they are not able to recover the process. So they have to put a lot of efforts to realize the export process. If it is proved that if they are not able to realize the export process, then they can go for write-off. And it's a regular customer of authorized bank for more than 6 months. All are bona fide transactions. So here you have to see that the exporter who wants to write off the export process to the tune of 5% or by 10% by authorized, that is stockholders as well as the authorized dealer, the customer should be there with the authorized dealer for more than 6 months, and they have to prove that all are bona fide transactions. Why this return off is being given importance means, whenever an exporter exports the goods outside India, he will realize duty drawback. So if when anything is written off, the exporter has to repay the duty drawbacks. That's why they fix the ceiling. So the write-off is a very, very great area and good area, wherein the exporter has to take a lot of cautions. Otherwise, he will be in trouble. Now, what are the other conditions are? Cases for fall under the undernoted categories are also eligible for the write-off. One thing, the overseas buyer has been declared as insolvent. Yes, after taking a lot of efforts, the overseas buyer has become insolvent. So that account can be written off by the exporter or by the authorized dealers. And another condition is unrealized amount due to the cases settled through the intervention of Indian Embassy, Foreign Chamber of Commerce or similar organization. Here, one has to see that an outstanding, the exporter is not able to recover, then they can make complaint to the Indian Embassy, and by way of settlement, the amount may be reduced. If that is there, then the balance amount can be written off by the exporter or by the authorized dealer. And in spite of lot of efforts taken by the exporter or by the authorized dealer, the overseas buyer is not to be traced for a longer period. For a longer period, normally it will be normally in convention they say that it is more than 1 year. So when they are not able to trace the overseas buyer, then that amount can be written off. And unrealized amount exceeding, that is unrealized amount outstanding not exceeding 10% of the invoice value of the export bill and turned out to be unrealizable despite all efforts taken by the exporter. Very, very simple. The exporter has put a lot of efforts, but not exceeding 10%. So up to 10% of invoice value, if the amount is not able to recover, then that amount can also be written off. Then other conditions are goods have been auctioned or destroyed by port, customs, health authorities, health authorities and the importing country. So you have sent the goods, but the person was not able to clear, then the port or customs, they can go for auction and they can recover the amount by way of auction, and after adjusting their process, the remaining amount will be sent to the supplier, that is here to the exporter. So goods have been auctioned and returned. Next one is cost of legal action is more than the unrealized amount, and even if the decree, it is very difficult to recover the amount. Here, whenever say you have put a lot of efforts to recover the amount, but the cost which you have spent towards the recovery will be more. So in that case, they say that I have to spend $1,000, then only I'll be able to realize $750. So they say that okay, you write off because the cost exceeds the amount to be due to be recovered. And after decree, if the amount is not able to recover, and that case also you can write off the outstanding amount. Then bills have been dishonored by the overseas buyer and there is no prospects of realization. You have sent the bills, that is exporters, they have sent the bills for realization, and that bill is being dishonored. Then and after proper care, and it has been noticed that there is no prospect of realization, then that thing also you can write off. Then authorized dealer, when written off, with the documentary proof produced by the exporter, and on his request, the authorized dealer can write off the export bill without limit. Suppose if the exporter say that, sir, we have taken a lot of steps, we are not able to recover the full amount because we are not able to face the party. There is no stock at all the stocks have been perished. So he can give a lot of reasons. And when they submit the reason to the exporter, to the authorized dealer, then based on the request of exporter, the authorized dealer can allow the party to write off the amount without any ceiling limit. That is 5%, beyond 5%, beyond 10% also it is allowed. Next thing is, this is a very, very, very good thing for the professional opportunity to the chartered accountant. In case of self written off, that is, exporter is going to write off, and then a certificate from CA regarding export realization during the preceding calendar year, details of write-off and benefits available have been written. So this certificate has to be produced by the exporter to the authorized dealer. That certificate that is regarding what is the export realization during the year, because you have to calculate 5% on the export process realized. So for that you have to get a certificate from the chartered accountant. Then what is the amount of written off? Details are written off. And what is the total benefits that have been written off? For this, you have to produce a certificate from the chartered accountant. Then, authorized dealer has to satisfy whether proportionate export benefits have been surrendered by the exporter during write-off. This is a very, very important thing, because an exporter has to see the duty drawback. As you have write off the export process, to the extent of return off process, the duty drawback has to be returned to the government, and it is a duty of the authorized dealer to see whether the same is being returned by the exporter to the government. So this is a thing I want to say about the export of unrealized goods. And now the following things are not eligible to be qualified for the return of. Is where the export is made to the countries with externalization problem. Suppose if there is any externalization problem, there the buyer has remitted the money, but it is not possible for that country, for that bank, that country, they are not able to repatriate the fund to India. So if it is proved that the money has been deposited at the other country, then there is no question of return. And second thing is, if there is any suit pending, or criminal suit or civil suit are pending, and these cases have been initiated by Enforcement Directorate and CBI, then those bills are not liable to be qualified for the return off. This is a very, very important thing. This is very, very simple. If there is any case pending, or if there is any case has been initiated under civil or criminal liability by customs authority, by enforcement director or CBI, then it should not be allowed. Then authorized dealers, they have to report the return of exports of bills in EDPMS. This has to be submitted to the RBI. So automatically it will go to the RBI. So authorized dealers, they have to report what is the total amount of return off during the year, calendar year, that has to be reported by authorized dealer. That means the reporting responsibility falls on the authorized dealers. Then these bills, return of bills, have to be checked by the internal or external auditors. This is also another professional opportunity available to the chartered accountant. So this return of bill, whether the return of is being done correctly or not, that has to be checked by the internal auditor or external auditors. Then authorized dealers, they have to refer to those return of requests which have not been covered to reserve, which have not been covered to RO. So sometimes the return of request is being given, it has not been covered, return of is not being done, but this is also to be to be informed to Reserve Bank of India. So these are the very, very important thing that we have to see with reference to the unrealized export bills. Now we are going for return of settlement, claim settled by ECGC and PIC. PIC means private insurance companies regulated by IRI. So any export is being supported by the client by ECGC, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation, as well as by PIC. If anything goes wrong, suppose if any amount of bill is being written up, then there is a availability of insurance claim. This has to be made. So here, who is the responsible to make the claim? It is the authorized dealer. He has to submit this report to the ECGC and PIC, but this has to be done only on the request of authorized dealer. So authorized dealer, he has to inform that is the exporter. He has to inform to authorized dealer that this amount, to this extent, the amount, it is not possible for me to recover. So okay, we will allow you to write off the amount, but this has to be informed by the authorized dealer on the request from the exporter to ECGC and PIC to make the claim. And then here, if they want to make the claim, the restrictions is not available. So 5%, 10%, because these restrictions are not available to make the claim with ECGC as well as the PIC. So to the extent of claim received from ECGC or PIC, the exporter, he has to surrender the incentives. Even we say that even if it is a written off amount, to that extent, immediately the exporter has to surrender the duty drawback to the government, but it is the responsibility of the authorized dealer to see whether that is being surrendered to the government or not. So the surrender of incentives is a very, very important thing. Even as an auditor, if you are going for audit, if you are an exporter, you have to see that it is your duty, that is an exporter's duty to surrender the amount to the government. What are the incentives they have received in the form of duty drawback and other incentives, they have to surrender to the government. Claims settled by ECGC and PIC in Indian rupee. Normally, whenever the claim is being made by the authorized dealer to ECGC and PIC, the claim will be settled only in rupee. It should not be treated that it is being settled in foreign exchange. That means there should not be any conversion of foreign exchange allowed in case of settlement. So this is a very, very important thing, because the insurance companies, they will make the payment only in Indian rupee, and this should not be converted into foreign exchange. So it is authorized dealers' duty to make the claim to ECGC and PIC. PIC and ECGC, they have to make the claim, and there is no restrictions. And whatever be the thing, then that to that extent, duty drawback has to be returned to the government. Now, what are the return of relaxation? That is realization of export process. That is not to be insisted upon any scheme of export promotion scheme under the FIT, that is a FTP, foreign trade policy, subject to the following conditions. What are the following? Because there is some relaxation that is realization from the export process. Written off on the merits of RBI and the authorized dealers. So on merit, if RBI has written off the amount, if authorized dealer, they have written off the amount, relaxation is there. Yeah, they can do to any extent. Then the exporter has to produce a certificate from Foreign Mission of India about the fact of non-recovery of export process from the buyer. So he has to supply the goods to the foreign country, he is not able to recover. So this certificate, that is the exporter has to receive a certificate from the Foreign Mission of India before write off the amount. So this is also there, and it is not applicable to self-write. That means the return off in case of stockholders, then by the authorized dealer, this certificate has to be produced by the exporter. And if the exporter, he himself write off the claim, that is the right of the debtors, then this certificate is not required. Now, next area is set-off of export receivables against import receivables. That is, you can set off. So export versus import. So I have to pay $1 lakh. I have to receive $90,000. So we can set off the balance amount only we have to recover. So this set off is also allowed. What are the procedures that are there? So for this, the request from the exporter or importer has to be made to the authorized dealer of the bank. So authorized dealer, only on receipt of request from the exporter and importer, they have to authorized bank, they have to give a specific permission that okay, you can set up. to set up outstanding export receivable against import receivable. So this is also possible. I have to get this amount of export process. I have to pay. So this is possible. This adjustment is possible. Then the setup of export possibles with import possibles from to the same overseas buyer and supplier. So I have to pay, I have to receive from A person this amount. I have to pay A person this amount. So we can write up, we can set up. So here, that means export receivable and import receivable set off is allowed only if the buyer and seller are the same person, that is overseas buyer and supplier. Then set off of outstanding export receivables with the import receivables with their overseas group or associate concerned companies, either on net basis or gross basis through an in-house or outsourced centralized settlement agreement. This is a source how they have to adjust. So through the house, so through export house also they can make the settlement, and even outsourced person. Suppose if there is anyone outstanding outside India, by way of outsourcing also you can make the setup. So here once again I repeat, setup of export and import receivables are allowed provided it is among the same supplier, same buyer. Then set-off is subject to the following conditions. Yes, what are the conditions? Now they put this arrangement should be operational or supervised through the authorized dealer bank. So that means this set-off can be done only through authorized dealer and not by persons directly. So whatever thing you want to settle, you have to do it only with the proper channel. That is, who is the proper channel? This is the authorized dealer. So the bona fide transactions have to be satisfied, have to be up to the satisfaction of the authorized dealer. Only when the authorized dealers are satisfied, then only they allow this export and import receivables. And at the time of satisfaction, they will verify. That is, authorized dealers, they will verify KYC norms as well as anti-money laundering norms. Though then, if any invoices are subject to scrutiny by Enforcement Directorate or CBI or other investigative agencies, those things are not allowed to be set up. Because if the ED or CBI and other investigating agencies suspect that the invoice has got some problem, then those invoices, those amounts due on the invoices will not be allowed to be set up. This is a very, very important thing. So as an auditor, if you are going there and if you are verifying it and you have to see whether is there any case against that invoice or not, then the import and export transactions has to be allowed as per the allowed extent of foreign trade policy. Next thing is import and export transactions with the ACU countries, that is Asian clearing countries, are outside the arrangement. So if the transaction is between ACU, that is the Asian clearing units, Asian clearing countries, Asian clearing union countries, then those transactions, those countries transactions will not be allowed, and they will be kept outside the purview of the setup procedures. Setup of import and export is allowed only for goods sold and not for services. So for any services due, in case if any service is due or buy, then that will not be allowed to be set up. So only for the setup is allowed only for the export of goods and not for the services. To set off the export receivable or import receivable, outstanding should be there at the time of setup. So only when the outstanding is there, then you can adjust. You can say, sir, tomorrow he has to give this amount. No, that should not be allowed. So only when outstanding of export, outstanding of import, then only it will be allowed to be set up. So without outstanding, no question of settlement is allowed. The same has to be done in the same calendar year. So the calendar year starts from January to March. So one calendar year setup should not be done against the next calendar year. The same has to be done on the same calendar year. Bilateral settlement should be there. Setup of the same overseas buyer and seller based on the verifiable agreement and mutual. So in case if they want to make the settlement, there should be a verifiable agreement. And by mutual consent also you can set up, but there should be a bilateral agreement. That means it should be written off, then only this settlement of set off is being allowed. Next point is set off between group or associate companies. Arrangement shall be backed by written legally enforceable agreement contract. Authorized dealer bank has to ensure the terms of agreement are strictly adhered to. So first thing, even for a group company, outstanding also can be set up. One. But for this, there's a specific written agreement. It is a duty of the authorized dealer bank to verify whether all there is a terms and condition to make this type of setup. And it is a duty of the authorized dealer to see that that agreement is legally enforceable. And this setup should not make any scope for tax evasion or tax. So again, who is taking care of setup? It is the authorized dealers. It is their duty to see whether there is any tax evasion or avoidance because of this setup that should be allowed. Then third-party guidelines should be adhered to by the concerned entities wherever applicable. Even third-party export process can also be set up. There should be a return agreement, but everything should be verified by the authorized dealer. That is that they have to verify. Then only even third-party export due can be adjusted with your account. So that is also possible. Then here authorized dealer, they will seek the charter accountant certificate. What is the total export? What is the total import? Whether it is allowed, whether what are the records they produce, everything has to be verified by the charter accountant and he has to give the certificate. Then here for each and every export transaction and import transactions be reported separately to the authorized dealer by the exporter. So each and every transaction have to be reported separately. It is not collectively. So every today I have made this export. Today I have made this import. So each and every transactions have to be reported separately, and there should not be any clubbing. Then authorized dealer bank has to, they will allow the set off by mentioning the details of the shipping bills, bill of exchange, bill of entry, and invoice details. So authorized dealers, then only they will allow the set off by after verification of shipping bills, bill of entry, and the invoice details. Now netting of export bill receivables against the import bill units under special economic zone. Here, previous thing, it is general. Now, what are the details of settlement in the SEZ? That is a separate thing. On request from the exporters, authorized dealers allow the netting off of export receivables against import payments for units located. So, netting off. Set off is here, it is called as netting off. Export and import at units located in SEZ, but subject to the following condition. What are the following conditions? That is, netting off or setting off has to be done for the same Indian entity and the overseas buyer and supplier. Netting to be done on the balance sheet of the unit of SEZ. So even in the earlier case also, the set off can be done between only the same buyer, same seller. Same is the case with the here. Here it is called as netting off. Then export declaration form is treated to be complete only when the entire process are adjusted or received. So EDF, that is only EDF means export declaration form. So it is to be completed. So you have exhibited, you have exported $1 lakh. You have received it net out in netting of $90,000. So 10,000 is still to be received from the foreign buyer. So that amount should also come. So repatriation should come in full to the extent of amount mentioned in EDF, that is export declaration form. Then sales and purchase transactions have to be reported separately. Sales and purchase transactions have to be reported separately. Netting off, that is for the units situated in SEZ. Then with reference to the transactions made with ACU, that is Asian Clearing Units, those transactions have to be kept outside of the arrangement of netting off. That will not be included. And the documents in full shape has to be submitted by the exporter to the authorized dealer bank in full shape. That means all the documents have to be submitted in the form of bill of entry, invoice, then shipping documents, everything they have to submit. Then only everything is in order, and then only the process of this netting off is said to be. Then now we are going for the exporter caution list. So exporter caution list is being prepared by RBI, So that's a separate list that you can find in the exporters, and you can find in the RBI site, but the access is given only to the authorized dealer bank and not to you, anyone. That is only the government agencies, they have got the access for this export caution list. So exporter will be placed under export caution list on the basis of recommendation of authorized dealer bank based on the track record with the authorized dealer bank and investigative agencies. Suppose if anything goes wrong, if the bankers they feel that, so when these persons they are exporting it, they will not bring the money. They are doing hawala transactions. So they will put all the exporters, these type of exporters, at the caution list. But they prepare the caution list based on the recommendation of authorized dealer. So authorized dealers, suppose say authorized dealer, say we can say that IOB, if they are recommending that this exporter is in the not doing the business, then that exporter reported by RBI, that is IOB, in the RBI's caution list. Suppose if Bank of Baroda wants to extend any facilities to this exporter, then this Bank of Baroda, he has to verify the RBI caution list. So thereby the export process will be controlled. Next one is authorized dealers bank. They have to report to regional office of RBI based on the report from enforcement director, CBI, and director of revenue intelligence or other law enforcing agency. And when the exporter is not traceable or exporter not sincere in realizing the export process. So the reason, the base on which the authorized dealer report to RBI, or based on the report received from enforcement, ED and CBI and Directorate of Intelligence. And this exporter is not traceable, but after receiving the export, after sending the goods, after receiving duty drawback, this exporter is absconding. He is not taking any sufficient step to repatriate the money. So they will be put under the exporters caution list by the RBI. Then, okay, now the authorized dealer, he has reported to RBI. Then the same person, he can do the delisting, because he has proved that the exporter has proved that he is a genuine, and he has that is the enforcement directorate on CBI. They have all given clean sheet to this exporter. Then the same authorized dealer can do the decaution list. So here you said it's a caution, decaution. So caution and decaution, it has been done by the authorized dealers. Next, what are the procedures that is authorized dealer bank to follow the procedure while handling the documents of such caution list? Okay, that person is caution list, but he wants to do the export. What are the cautions? What are the procedures that the bank has to take? Is exporters produce that for having received advance payment or an irrevocable LC in favor covering full value of prospect export. So this exporter, I am an exporter, I am in the caution list, so I want to make the export, but I have received the full payment through the authorized dealer. That is, payment has already come. Okay, you are allowed to do the export. I produce irrevocable LC. Okay, I am also allowed to export, though I am in the caution list. This is the first procedure that authorized dealer will take. Then, in case of Ussan's bill, the relative LC cover full export value and also permits such payments. So LC is there. It is Ussan's bill. Ussan's bill means payment after fixed period, say 2 months, 3 months. So LC is there for the full export value. LC is the guarantee given by the foreign banks to this Indian exporter. Yeah, in that case, even though that exporter is in the caution list, they will be allowed to do the export. Then Ussan's bill also mature within the prescribed realization period, reckoned from the date of shipment. So yeah, the Ussan's bill also from the shipping, that is date of shipment, before reach from the date of shipment, say the shipment will take say 6 months. but Usans will mature within 3 months. So amount of realization will be certain. So in that case also, though the exporters are in the caution list, they can do it. But authorized biller should not handle the shipping documents of exporters under the except A, B, and C. Other than the conditions mentioned above, A, B, C, the authorized dealers, they will not handle the shipping documents because they are under the caution list. So full amount has to be received and irrevocable LC. In case of Ushan's bill also, the amount is being guaranteed. Then only, though the exporters are in the caution list, they will be allowed to export it. Otherwise, without ABC condition, which I mentioned above, nothing will be allowed. That is, authorized dealers, they will not allowed to do the business. They will not allowed to transact, or they will not accept the shipping documents. In case if the bankers, authorized dealers, they want to issue bank guarantee to the caution list customer, they have to get RBI permission. Normally, bank guarantee is being given by the authorized dealer without RBI permission. But if the exporter is in the caution list, then they have to get the permission of RBI. Then only they will issue the bank guarantee. So this is a very so you are going for audit. You have to be very careful, because whether the guarantee issue to the caution list has been supported by RBI permission or not. Now, authorized dealer is issuing the bank guarantee. What are the steps they have to take? In respect of any debt or obligation or any liability incurred by a person resident in India and owed to person resident outside India incurred on account of exports. On account of exports, only this bank guarantee can be issued, and or other person. And the person who is taking bank guarantee is resident in India. The beneficiary is resident outside India, that is allowed. Authorized dealer can give guarantee to person resident outside India with the following condition. What are the guarantees? What are the conditions that are required to issue the guarantee? So debt, obligation, or other liability arose due to the bona fide transaction by the exporter, provided counter guarantee is being given, received from the Bank of International. So this bank has given the guarantee. Counter guarantee is also given by the Bank of International Repute. Then this banker can issue bank guarantee to a person resident outside India. Guarantees of only resident banks are acceptable by the overseas buyer. So only the overseas buyer, they will accept only the guarantee from India and not from guarantee issued by non-resident banks. And now remittances connected with exports. What are the remittances? You have made the export. The party, overseas buyer, he has to make the payment to the authorized dealer. Sometimes the exporter has to pay some commission outside India. The person before settlement can adjust the commission, can take the commission, and they will send the balance amount only to you. So that is allowed. So agency commission on exports, that point we have to see. Sometimes they say that they will remit the agency commission separately or adjust in the invoice value, and the balance amount will be sent. But this is also subject to some condition. This has to be clearly mentioned in EDF or Softex forms. This has to be accepted by customs authorities or Ministry of Information Technologies of Government of India or Special Economic Zone authorities. So it is very clear amount of what is the total amount of commission. It has to be clearly mentioned in EDF. But this has to be accepted by the customs authorities. That means they say, okay, 5% commission, okay, it is, we are accepting it. Then only balance amount, 95% will come to India, because it is a duty of the exporter. He has to bring all the process into India. But here they say that only after deducting commission, balance amount will come. In case if it is not, the commission amount is not mentioned in EDF or Softex, the exporter has to give a proper reason why it has not been declared in EDF or Softex, and he can say that, sir, we have entered into a separate agreement for this with the beneficiary. This is also possible. Even in that case also, okay, the customs authorities, they will accept, and they will they will allow the party to deduct the commission, and balance amount will be will come to you. Next one is the shipment has already been carried out. So the prior conditions are the commission has to be declared specifically in EDF or the soft text. And if it is not there, if it is not clearly mentioned in EDF or soft text, this has to be properly explained, saying that there's a separate agreement and the shipment has already been made. So remittance says, okay, we have already done the shipment. Then authorized dealers allow the exporters to pay the commission provided their exports covered under the counter trade arrangement through escrow accounts designated under US dollars. So, okay, authorized dealers, okay, you settle them, but they will open a separate account. Only in that account only all the payment should come. Escrow account means it's a separate account opened by the authorized dealer at the following country. All the collection units, the collection amount they have to remit to the escrow account. Accepted by the Customs Authority, the Ministry of Information Technology. The commission has already been allowed. So the $1 lakh, 5% commission, 5,000. So 95,000 rupees, $95,000. The party can make the payment into the export agreement. In case there is no agreement, and you can act according to the separate agreement. So we have entered a separate agreement. Based on that, commission amount can be given. The commission is not payable through escrow account. In escrow account, only the process, that means there should not be any debit allowed in the escrow. It's very simple. There should not be any debit allowed in escrow account. Only the credit it is allowed and not the debit. So commission is not payable through the escrow. This is a very, very important thing. Normally, there are a lot of problems are there in commission because they will do a lot of adjustments in the form of hawala. But the same thing they say that, okay, we have paid the commission. So as an auditor, as an authorized dealer, everyone has to be very, very careful if they say that we are paying this amount of commission. And commission should not be deducted from the invoice value. So they say that $1 lakh is the invoice value, less 5% commission, only 95,000 due. So the invoice value should be prepared in full amount and not in part. So commission, they have to mention that this is the amount of commission. So duty drawback has to be paid on the full export value and not after deduction of commission. So, but in EDF or soft text form, the exporter has to mention that this is the commission. That is permitted. Now, refund of export process. So far we have said payment. Now, export process, what are the refund allowed? In case of poor quality, if the goods which have been re-imported, authorized dealer bank has to refund the export process. The person has paid the amount, but after receipt of the goods, then the export buyer say that, sir, we have got a poor quality. So you have to return the export process. Yes, it is allowed. What are the conditions? Exercise due diligence regarding the track record of the exporter. Normally, out of 1,000 bills, some 2 bills or 3 bills, if it is there, then it's okay. If he has exported 5 goods, all the 5 goods are treated to be poor quality, then the refund will be considered after taking very good precaution. Then only excise, then only authorized dealers, they will return the export process. Then verify the bona fide transaction. It is the duty of the authorized dealer to verify whether it's a bona fide transactions are there or not. Then attend from the exporter a certificate issued by DGFT Customs Authority that no export incentives has been received, or if received, surrender the proportionate incentives to the government. So the export, you have done the export. The exporter has received duty drawback. If any refund of process has been taken, place by from the authorized dealer, then to the extent of duty drawback, to the extent of export process refunded, the export process have to be, whereas duty drawback has to be returned to the government. And if there is nothing, no amount is being paid or no amount is being claimed in the form of duty drawback, then there is no need. But for this, the exporter has to produce a certificate issued by DGFT or customs authorities with reference to duty drawback receipt. Not re-imported, but auctioned or destroyed by customs, port, health authorities and any other accredited agency of importing country submit a satisfactory document evidence. You have done the export. Due to some problems, the goods have been auctioned or destroyed by company. So suppose if the customs feel that it is against the country's policy, they can destroy the goods. If the exporter proved that the goods have been destroyed or auctioned by customs and port, to that extent, if the export process have already been realized, then to that extent, that export process have to be returned to the buyer if the proper certificate is being produced by exporter to the authorized dealers. What are the other things are authorized dealer should ensure that the procedures as applicable to the normal imports are adhered. Then undertaking from the exporter to re-import the goods within 3 months from the date of refund of export process shall be obtained. That is, undertaking from the exporter to re-import the goods within 3 months from the date of refund. Okay, now we have exported amount as there is a refund. There is a refund. Yes, we have done the refund. The same goods have to come back to India within 3 months from the date of refund of export process, and this undertaking should be given by the exporter to the authorized dealers. So today we have seen the return of procedures, set of procedures, and a refund of export process. So this is a thing I want to say through today's presentation, and here I end the presentation of export of goods and services and FEMA. And thank you very much for watching this program. Nandri, Vanakkam.